in order to end any war, there must be a treaty. It can't be Congress declaring that's the end of war. It has to be by treaty.
Now let me ask you this. The reason why it can't be by Congress is that when you deal with a treaty, you're dealing with other nations.
Yes, that's right.
It isn't endemic to a certain country. You're dealing with another one.
Right.
Therefore, this has to go outside the purview of Congress.
That's right.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
Now, what happened was, when another nation, when either of the two nations create a war, that eliminates all treaties that proceeded right after the war, the first war.
Okay.
All right? So that meant the Treaty of 1783 is nulled. The Treaty of 1792 was nulled. And what does it revert back to? It reverts back to the Declaration of Rights of Virginia of 1603.
Okay.
And that means it puts everybody back to under British rule. It's British soil. And that's it. It's done.
Okay, so then we just got something in the chat room saying 1783 was the first one, but now what you just said was that was vitiated by
the war
nothing else by 1812.
Right.
So we're all a bunch of serfs now going back to 1603.
Yeah, and that's why they had the Treaty of Verona in 1822.
Well, that's another interesting situation.
Oh, yeah. And I would say everybody should get the Treaty of Verona, and it was a secret treaty. It's no secret any longer. But I do have it in here. I don't have it at hand to read on it, but the Pope controls everything in the Treaty of Verona.
Well, that's when they turned around and said, listen, we don't like this Republican spirit of nations, and we're not going to let this go on any longer.
Right.
Now, I will say this. The Vatican did not inject itself into that treaty. However, that was obviously a conference that was held in Verona.
Well, it was because, you see, it says the Holy Roman Empire. Who was the head of the Holy Roman Empire? The Vatican.
Yeah, but it's easy to say, look, this happened in Verona, it didn't happen in Rome.
Oh, yeah, that's right, yeah.
All right, so, so would I say that little, what would I want to call it?
A misnomer?
No, it's a little misdirection.
Yeah, a little misdirection.
I'm looking for a more erudite word, and of course I'm not going to come up with that. But I think that was a deliberate kind of bending away, so that the focus wouldn't be on Rome. Oh, it happened in Verona.
Right.
But the Vatican was a party to it, at least.
Oh, yeah.
Again, I don't think that you can nail them.
No, it's not specific enough.
No, but
you have to know what was going on in history at the time.
And of course, people can say, okay, look, this isn't true. Fine. But I mean, there are works like Burke McCarty, also Charles D. Wilcox, who has talked about this as well. Mm-hmm. That what was that all about? And that was like, we're not going to go through this like little inspiration to revolt against the powers that be. This is going to come to an end.
Right.
Okay. All right, listen, we've gone so far, and I'm sorry I haven't had a chance to do this, so let's do this now. Again, you're listening to The Informer. We thank you all for being here. Big Jim, we thank you for producing this. And I-Man, you have some books out there. What is the deal if people want to get their hands on them?
Okay, well, I figured, being the holidays and everything being like it is, that
nobody has any money.
Yeah. That I would take the Which One Are You book, the Big Lie 3 book, and the New History of America, and I'd make the first two $45 each, and the New History of America $25. And shipping is included in that. You don't have to pay shipping.
All right.
And the new book I'm coming out with, I don't know when it will be out. I'm working on it right now. I don't know how. I'm up to 19 pages. I don't know how many more pages it will take.
You'll be all right.
And I'm going to try to see if I can get an arrangement out to keep the book somewhere between $10 and $15.
Well, that's pretty fair. Okay.
And but don't hold me to that because, like I say, I've got a lot more. And this goes into how the Crown dictated to the United States, to the framers, what to put in the Constitution, and that it was a sub-corporation of the Crown, and it goes back to the British Board of Trade that was instrumental in doing everything. And everybody says, well, what's the British Board of Trade got to do with it? Well, let me tell you.
Yeah.
I went in and I got it out of the UK History Library, believe it or not.
And where did you find this?
I found it online.
Really? Okay.
Yep. And I didn't think I would, but it's the Council of Trade and Plantations, 1696 to 1782. And it said the Council of Foreign Trade and Foreign Plantations of 1696 was appointed by the Crown by commission under the Great Seal. It was composed of various unsalaried ex officio commissioners who were not expected to attend the board regularly, and it would be the commissioners are the holders of office of Lord Chancellor or Lord Keeper, the Lord President of the Council, the Lord Privy Seal, the Lord Treasurer of First Lord of Treasury, the Lord Admiral and First Lord of Admiralty, Secretary of State, and Chancellor to the Exchequer, which is the Bank of England, to the Bishop of London in 1702, and the Surveyor and Auditor General of Plantations in 1791. Now, let's go back and look at who was appointed in 1696.
As what?
As the Board of Trade, which regulated British colonial holdings overseas. October 28th. Now, a lot of people know Story, Blackstone, Pufendorf, John Locke, and all these as champions of freedom, right?
Locke. Mm-hmm.
Well, guess what? Who was appointed May 15th, 1696, amongst all the people was John Locke.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
In 1697, John Locke. In 1699, John Locke. Now, Locke was for democracy, not a republic. And in fact, it was on the British Board of Trade that dictated to the colonies that they were to use no paper, only gold and silver, so the Crown could better control the people in the colonies. And Locke was even appointed to the British Board of Trade to suggest this. Locke was appointed to the Board of Trade and instrumental in the Act of 1751 that forbid the colonies to use anything but gold and silver, and they could not install a banking system, and forbid the colonies to use paper money as they had done.
So in other words, John Locke, who was supposed to be this person who was so
champion of freedom and stuff, he was just the opposite. But in fact, what happened was Locke was for the Crown, not the people, despite what he wrote. And in fact, Ben Franklin, was charged to answer the British Board of Trade. And I'll read you a direct quote right out of Franklin's speech to the British Board of Trade, okay? And it says, this is on his decree that they could only use gold and silver.
Right.
Here's a quote. To the contrary, paper money that served as a medium of exchange and credit had made possible for the growth of the colonies and their trade that had profited England by providing greater facility and convenience in trade than does barter, and was the only alternate in the face of the shortage of British coins. End quote. Mm-hmm. Now, that shows the con job, which I call the Constitution. Everybody calls it the Constitution. I call it con job. It was to sell out of the people as it was written by the Crown, and the framers were nothing but puppets. And the reason why is because the Crown said, okay, we're going to run a blockade against you in America because you have no navy, you have no army, we control the seas, and we'll run a blockade, and we will confiscate every piece of property in England and Europe that you own. And you will be destitute in your own little world over there, and we will finally rule you again.
So what you're saying, though, is that England said, okay, we don't have to fight anymore, we don't have to shed any blood, we don't have to pay mercenaries to come over and do our stuff.
That's right.
We're going to grab you by the financial short hairs, and either you wake up or, but really they didn't have to invade. It was all about finances.
That's all it was.
And what you're saying is also, and of course it is there in the record, we're going to talk about some of the sources of information that everybody can look toward.
Oh yeah, yeah. They can go and pick this up in well, not that particular thing that I had.
No.
But the very beginning of it is the quote. Yeah, that is from. Just go online and go to the UK. What the heck is it? The British Board of Trade. Just type in United Kingdom, the British Board of Trade. It'll come up. And I don't have the exact thing right here.
No, that's okay. We'll put that up on the site later on.
Yes, UK History Library is where it comes from. Council of Trade and Plantations,
so
1796 to 1782.
And we're going to break pretty soon for the top of the hour, and the first of the 2 hours we're going to do with you. But we're talking about it's all about money. It's always been all about money.
Always been about money.
So the founding fathers found themselves basically pressed against the wall, and they turned around and they gave us up.
Yep.
To save their own asses.
That's exactly what they did, because they looked down on us, the commoner, as the same as Warren Buffett and Gates and the president of CEO of GM and all the Chrysler people. You know, we're on a different level. We're on a different plane than what they are, and they got a lot more, they say, to lose, and they're protecting their own butts, just like the bailout. Where's all the money coming from? It ain't coming from the Federal Reserve, and they don't have any. Well, they could print it and really cause an inflation and really a drop in everything quicker than what I've figured about 100 days from December the 1st.
All right, so what we're looking at, and we're coming up on the top of the hour. In the second hour, we're going to talk about the Constitution, and everybody gets all freaked out about it. I mean, you and I have gone back about this, and even the listeners, who are here with us today, and those who will listen later on, are like we all been.
Right.
We get the Constitution. The Constitution is where it's at, but really that's been a scam as well.
Yes.
And the founding fathers, and the one thing I find most reprehensible is the fact that they would allow themselves to be coined as fathers because they are anything but patriarchs.
Well, do you know, in the definition of international law, that the word founding fathers, means an illusionary corporation?
Oh, wait a minute. State that again. Founding fathers in what dictionary?
In international law, anything that is founding is a founding of an illusionary, I can't pronounce it right, illusionary organization, which is like...
it doesn't exist.
Yeah, right.
It's ephemeral. It isn't there.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's there, but it's not there. You can't grab it. It's not tangible.
Right. It's intangible. It's a fiction.
And the thing that they would call themselves fathers, and I have to tell you this, if anybody's ever read on that Avalon site, which I think you would say is pretty good as far as...
Oh, yeah, it is very good.
What Jefferson had written to the Native American people,
mm-hmm.
Oh my God, I am your father and you're my children. I hurled.
Well, the same way if you looked at the Bible, it says, he says, the Lord, call no man your father.
Yep.
Call no man a father. In other words, the father of the priest in the Catholic Church, you don't call him father. Why would you call them a father? The Lord is the father. Your human father is an offshoot of the Lord, and that's
right.
Why he commanded no one to call no man no father. That's what he said.
All right, we're going to go to a break. We're going to take about 4 minutes, folks. That's about it, like 4 minutes and 10 seconds. And we're going to rejoin this discussion with the I-Man with regard, and we're going to get heavily into the Constitution. So in the second hour, we're going to really get into the nuts and bolts of this. And again, we'll be about 4 minutes, so